What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 1973 Honda CB500 Ford Cafe Racer build. In this episode, I am tackling the wheels. These things need some work. The chrome on the wheels might be shot, and the spokes are definitely rusted. Whatever coating was on them is gone now. So I think I'm going to end up probably having to paint the wheels. I think they would look better black anyways. I am putting new tires on the wheels because I think these are the original tires and they are quite dry rotted, not roadworthy at all. So I am putting on these new awesome tires. I'm really excited about these. They're going to transform the bike's whole look. They've got a nice chunky sidewall. They're going to really fit the brat style look of this Cafe Racer bike that I am building. Then I've also got some brand new tubes. I've got some adhesive steel wheel weights because I'm going to balance these wheels. But before I do any of that stuff, I've got to pull off the front brake disc axle, then pull off the rear sprocket, then I will pull the tires off and we'll get down to business. Let's do it. Should come off now. There it is. And I am going to be replacing all of these wheel bearings. And now it's time for the back wheel. Okay, now with all those tabs bent down, we should be able to just loosen up these nuts and get these sprocket off. Yes, it did come off. Now we're just left with, then there's this big nut looking thing that's holding in this bearing. Well guys, I found out the hard way that this bearing retaining nut here is counter threaded, which means we turn it to the right to loosen it, not tighten it. Okay, there it is. Well, there's the hub. This is a cush drive. I'm gonna go ahead and remove all these rubber pieces. Looks like all of these little rubber dampeners are still in good condition, still pliable, nice soft rubber. Alright, now that I've got all of that stuff off of the wheels, it is time to try and remove these old tires. I'm going to start with the back tire. We'll go ahead and remove the valve stem out of this valve. Man, that's a heck of a valve stem. Never seen one quite like that. Okay, now I'm going to use my tire bead breaker. All this does is just pinches down on that tire. And then you can take and push the tire all the way off the bead. Alright, now it's time for the tire spoons. Now these are just 3 generic cheap ones. But then this one, this is my favorite ever tire spoon, made by Tusk. It has a nice bend on this end, specifically for breaking the bead on a tire like that. See how good that works? If you're going to be changing a lot of motorcycle tires, guys, you've got to get one of these. Check the link up here or down in the description. Okay. Yeah, this thing is stiff. We got to go ahead and get my second spoon in there. Oh, might as well get 3 spoons in. Yeah, we gotta start off like with them like right next to each other, because this tire is just way too stiff. Do 1, 2, and 3. flip it over, and we gotta do it again. And the next step is very satisfying. Just pick it up, push the wheel down in. Whew. Got it. Yep, just what I expected. The inside of the wheel is totally rusted up, and the rim tape is done. Alright, now we just got to do the same exact thing with the front wheel. Here we go. And there's the front wheel. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, I got my work cut out for me today. Alright, now it's time to remove all of this rust off of the wheels. Let's do it. I've got as much of the rust off these wheels as I can with the wire wheel. For the spokes and the rest of the hard to reach areas, I'm using some muriatic acid, and I'm going to brush it onto the spokes and let the chemical do the work removing the rust. A little bit of baking soda to neutralize the extra acid all over the ground. In about 20 minutes, and now I'm going to wipe off all of the extra acid off the wheel. So I'm going to use my angle grinder with a flat disc sander. To rough up the drum surface so the paint sticks to it. Now I'm going to use the 120 grit again just to smooth it out a bit. Now I got to take some 100 grit sandpaper and sand in between each individual spoke, because that's the one area that I wasn't able to reach with the other sanders. Alright, I think this wheel's all ready for paint, so now I gotta do the same thing on the front wheel. I went ahead and removed all the rust and paint and whatever else was on the sprocket and some of these extra like brackets and plates, and also the brake drum plate. Before I paint all this stuff, I'm going to hit it with some 220 grit sandpaper just to smooth out the surface and try to get all the big scratches out of it. Just going to give this stuff a clean up, and then I think it'll be ready for paint. So I moved the operation to my garage. I'm going to spray some air on the wheels to get any dust off of them. Alright, everything is ready for paint. I've cleaned it all off multiple times, and now all I've got to do is just tape off some areas like these threads here, like the inside of the drum brake. Alright, now I'm going to start out with some self-etching primer. This stuff is great for bare metal. It sticks really good. I've used it with a lot of success in the past. Well guys, it's the next day and my primer is all dry. Here's my paint booth set up today. It was raining super hard all morning, so I've got a dehumidifier in here. We're at 59% humidity. It went down because it was at like 75 when I first came out here this morning. I've also got 2 space heaters running just to try to cut down on the humidity, because I have painted in high humidity before with the garage door open and it raining. Once I put the clear coat on, it got all foggy and weird, and there was obviously moisture trapped in between the paint. So I'm not trying to have that happen today. And it actually stopped raining and the sun's out. So I'm gonna open up my doors, turn on these 2 fans I have for ventilation, and then once I get all the paint fumes out, I'm gonna close the door and turn the heater back on and get this stuff dried out. Here's the paint I'm using, VHT engine enamel. I'm using it not because it's going on an engine, but because this stuff is very resistant to oils and fluids. It's an enamel paint, and it's just really good paint for anything automotive related. And then I'm also using their gloss clear engine enamel for a clear coat layer. It's gonna be good. Let's get this color on here. Time for coat number 2. And onto my second can now. Okay, now it's time for the clear coat. It's the next day and the wheels look great. Even with that humidity, the paint didn't really frost up too much, although it did a tiny bit on the front wheel. A lot of people were saying that if you use this kind of engine paint, you have to actually bake it at 200 degrees in the oven to fully cure the paint so that it is oil and solvent resistant. And the can says that we need to bake it too. It says extremely important. After paint is completely dry, it must be cured to substantially increase the durability of the finish and enhance chemical resistance. Bake at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. So let's get it in the oven.
Seriously, Mason, we cook in there. We're not gonna put that in the oven. It's not even gonna fit.
I'm gonna have to make my own oven with some plywood, a heat gun, aluminum foil, and aluminum HVAC tape. Now I have to line this whole thing with aluminum foil. Okay, so now that my trap for conspiracy theorists is done, my paint baking oven, I'm gonna drop this down, and then I gotta drill a hole for the heat gun. conspiracy theorist's glory hole. All done, so it's time to get my painted parts into the easy bake oven as well. Might as well bake it all at one time. Nice. Okay, gonna stick the heat gun in and let's turn it on. The heat gun has three different modes. I'm gonna leave it on mode 2. In order to monitor the temperature, I'm using this is for my smoker, but it's a Bluetooth thermometer and got a little probe. So I drilled a little hole in there. We'll stick the temperature probe in, plug it into this little device here, and we'll power it on. And this will tell me what the temperature is. I've got my phone connected and it says we're at 176 degrees Fahrenheit. Just in case something goes wrong, got my fire extinguisher handy, but now that we're up to temp, I'm gonna set a timer for 1 hour and we'll cure this paint. Woo! All right, it's been an hour. I'm pulling the heat gun. Then I can pull my thermometer out. We can see the temperature dropping off pretty quickly. Okay, moment of truth. Let's pop the top and see how everything looks. Hopefully the paint didn't completely get messed up. Woo, toasty in there. That feels nice. Now paint looks super good actually. Yes, that made these wheels and everything so much better. And there was a little bit of foggy frostiness from the moisture, I guess. And curing them like that made the paint so much glossier, and it got rid of all of that white frostiness. That was awesome. I totally recommend doing that. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. I showed you what I think is the best possible way to paint motorcycle wheels. Obviously, it's better to powder coat the wheels, but I don't have means of powder coating. I have means of painting easily, so that's what I did here, and I think that this paint job is going to hold up really well. But we'll find out in the next video, where I'm going to mount the new tires on these wheels and also put new bearings and seals in them, and then new brake shoes. So stay tuned for that one. It'll be the next video in this series. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the Honda CB500 Brat style cafe racer build. If you are, please hit that like button. Comment down below what you think of my homemade oven, and I had a ton of fun making it. I love building silly little things like this. And if you want to stay in the loop with this build series, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more uploads in this series. And I will see you guys next time. Peace